Right now, tonight, while you sleep, your brain is either cleaning itself or slowly filling with toxic waste. I know that sounds alarming, but here is the medical reality. Your brain has a built-in cleaning system that only activates during deep sleep. It washes away the proteins linked to Alzheimer's disease, and if you are not getting deep sleep, which most people over 60 are not, that waste builds up every single night. Here is what keeps me up at night as a doctor. Nearly 45% of all dementia cases could be prevented or significantly delayed. That is nearly half. And the Lancet Commission, one of the most respected medical bodies in the world, published this finding in their 2024 report. That means this is not inevitable. This is not just genetics. Today, I am going to walk you through 7 specific foods you can eat before bed tonight. Yes, tonight. That help your brain clean itself, consolidate your memories, and protect you from the kind of cognitive decline that steals your independence. And food number 4 is the one that surprises every single one of my patients. Stay with me. My name is Dr. Nathan Wells, and I have been practicing medicine for over 20 years with a specific focus on senior health and preventive care. And what breaks my heart in my clinic, what I see week after week, is patients who come to me convinced they have early Alzheimer's disease. They are frightened. Their families are frightened. And in many of those cases, what I find is not a disease. What I find is a brain that is not sleeping deeply enough and not getting the nutrients it needs to repair itself overnight. I made this video because I do not want that to happen to you. What you eat in the 2 hours before bed has a direct, measurable impact on how deeply your brain cleans itself while you sleep. And most people have no idea. I want to tell you about Margaret. She was 68 years old when she first came to see me. A retired elementary school teacher who spent her mornings tending the garden she had been growing for 30 years. She knew the Latin name of every plant in it. Then slowly she started forgetting them. She would walk outside and stand in front of her roses, and the name would just not come. She started losing her glasses, misplacing her keys, losing her train of thought mid-sentence. She told me, "Dr. Wells, I figured it was just what happens. My mother had Alzheimer's and I just assumed I was next." What I found when I ran her full metabolic panel was not Alzheimer's. What I found was a severe magnesium deficiency, elevated fasting insulin from her nightly bowl of ice cream, and severely fragmented sleep. Her brain's cleaning system was barely functioning. Within 6 weeks of changing what she ate in the evenings, Margaret told me the fog had lifted. She was sleeping through the night. She remembered her plants. It was not dementia, it was metabolic sleep deprivation, and it was fixable. I want to make sure that happens for you too. According to the proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, published with support from the National Institutes of Health, losing just 1 night of deep sleep increases the burden of beta-amyloid in your brain's memory centers by 5%. Beta-amyloid is the toxic protein directly associated with Alzheimer's disease. 1 night. 5% more toxic waste in your hippocampus, the part of your brain that holds your memories, your names, your stories. That means every night of poor sleep is not neutral. It is a deposit into the wrong account, and your brain is the one paying the price. The question is, are you giving your brain what it needs tonight to clean itself? Sign food number 1, walnuts. Let's start with the one that surprises people most because it looks so ordinary. Food number 1 is a small handful of walnuts, and I mean a small handful, about 4 to 5 walnut halves, eaten roughly 90 minutes before bed. Most of my patients tell me, "Dr. Wells, I thought eating at night would just make me gain weight." And I completely understand why people think that. That is what we have all been told for years. But here is what is actually happening inside your brain when you eat walnuts before sleep. Walnuts are one of the only foods on Earth that contain naturally occurring melatonin, the hormone your brain uses to trigger deep sleep. They also contain plant-based omega-3 fatty acids that actively reduce neuroinflammation, the low-grade brain swelling that quietly accelerates cognitive decline. Think of the neurons in your brain like roads connecting different cities. When neuroinflammation sets in, It is like road construction blocking every major highway at once. Signals slow down. Communication breaks down. You forget where you were going mid-thought. Walnuts help clear that construction. They reduce the friction in your brain's communication system so messages flow cleanly from one region to another. The Journal of Nutrition, Health and Aging found that regular walnut consumption is associated with significantly better performance on cognitive function tests in adults, regardless of age. Your action tonight: set out exactly 4 to 5 walnut halves on the counter right now. That is your bedtime snack, not next week. Tonight. Food number 2, tart cherry juice. Food number 2 is one I recommend to almost every patient over 60 who tells me they wake up in the middle of the night and cannot fall back asleep. 4 ounces, half a cup, of unsweetened tart cherry juice, about 1 hour before bed. Patients often tell me, juice gives me heartburn, or I can't have juice because of my blood sugar. And that concern is valid for most juices. But tart cherry juice, when it has no added sugar, has a low glycemic index, and what it contains is extraordinary. One of the highest natural concentrations of melatonin found in any food, plus tryptophan, plus anthocyanins, powerful antioxidants that actually extend the duration of your deep sleep. Here is how I explain it to my patients. Imagine your brain's cleaning crew is like a nighttime janitorial team at a large office building. They can only do their job after the lights are off and the building is locked. If people keep streaming in and out all night, if you keep waking up, that cleaning crew never finishes the job. The trash piles up in the hallways. Tart cherry juice is what locks the building. It extends and deepens your sleep so the cleaning crew has time to finish. A study published in the European Journal of Nutrition found that tart cherry juice concentrate measurably increased melatonin levels and improved both sleep time and sleep quality in adults. Half a cup, 1 hour before bed. Write that down. Food number 3, pumpkin seeds. I want to be honest with you about something. In 20 years of practice, I have seen magnesium deficiency in more patients over 60 than almost any other nutritional shortfall, and almost none of them knew they had it. Most had no idea magnesium was connected to their sleep or their memory. Food number 3 is 1 tablespoon of roasted, unsalted pumpkin seeds, and the reason they matter is that they are one of the most concentrated food sources of both magnesium and zinc available to us. Zinc is required for your brain to convert tryptophan, an amino acid, into serotonin, which then converts into melatonin. No zinc, no melatonin. No melatonin, no deep sleep. No deep sleep, no brain cleaning. And magnesium? Magnesium activates your GABA receptors. GABA is your brain's primary braking system. Think of your nervous system at the end of a long day like a car engine that has been running at highway speed for 12 straight hours. The engine is hot. It is still revving. You pull into the garage and you cannot get it to idle down. Magnesium is the brake pedal. Without enough of it, your brain cannot downshift into the deep restorative sleep your memory depends on. A study published in the journal Nutrients found that dietary magnesium intake is inversely associated with the risk of cognitive impairment and disrupted sleep architecture. Lower magnesium, worse sleep, faster cognitive decline. 1 tablespoon. Sprinkle them on your evening yogurt or eat them plain. Start tonight. Now, let me pause here for just a moment. We are halfway through these 7 foods, and I want to ask you something directly. Have you noticed any changes in your memory lately? Forgetting names? Walking into a room and not knowing why? Losing your train of thought mid-sentence? If so, go to the comments right now and type yes. Just the word yes in capital letters. I read every single comment on this channel, and I want to know what you are experiencing. And if this video is already giving you something useful, something you are going to act on tonight, hit the like button right now. It takes 1 second and it tells YouTube to put this video in front of more people over 60 who need to hear it. All right, let's keep going. Because food number 5 is the one that almost nobody talks about, and it is the one most connected to that 3 a.m. wake-up that is slowly wrecking your memory. Food number 4, kiwi fruit. Food number 4 surprises every patient I share it with. 2 kiwi fruits, eaten about 1 hour before bed. The first thing people say is, "Isn't fruit too much sugar for the evening?" And I always validate that concern. It is a reasonable one, but kiwi is different in a very specific way. Kiwis are exceptionally rich in serotonin and folate, 2 compounds that directly regulate your ability to fall asleep and stay asleep through those critical deep sleep cycles. Think of kiwi as a biological dimmer switch. You know how in a restaurant, they slowly dim the lights as the evening gets later? That dim light tells your nervous system, it is time to wind down. Kiwi does that chemically. It slowly brings your brain's activity level down from the high-frequency alertness of the day to the low, slow-wave pattern of deep sleep. A study published in the Asia-Pacific Journal of Clinical Nutrition tested this directly. Eating 2 kiwis 1 hour before bed significantly improved sleep onset, duration, and efficiency in adults with sleep disturbances. Total sleep time increased by 13.4%. That is not a small improvement. That is a meaningful difference in how much time your brain's cleaning system has to operate every single night. 1 or 2 kiwis, 1 hour before bed. The skin is edible if you want the full fiber benefit. Food, number 5, almonds. Here is what I wish I could tell every patient who walks through my door. Your brain is under oxidative stress right now. Every single day, the normal process of thinking, of being alive, produces free radicals that attack your neurons. And after 60, your brain's ability to neutralize those attacks starts to slow down. Food number 5 is 1 tablespoon of unsweetened almond butter, right off the spoon after dinner. Almonds are one of the best dietary sources of vitamin E, a fat-soluble antioxidant that does something remarkable. It crosses the blood-brain barrier. Most antioxidants cannot do that. Vitamin E can. It enters the brain directly and coats the membranes of your neurons, protecting them from oxidative damage at the cellular level. If your neurons are the electrical cables running through your home, vitamin E is the rubber insulation protecting those cables. Over time, without that protection, the insulation cracks. Signals short-circuit. Connections get lost. That is cognitive aging, and it is accelerated by oxidative stress. A study in the Brain Research Bulletin found that almonds reversed cognitive deficits by increasing acetylcholine levels, the neurotransmitter directly responsible for learning and memory. 1 tablespoon of almond butter after dinner. And if you have dental work that makes chewing difficult, sliced almonds or almond butter work exactly the same. Food number 6, wild blueberries. This is the one that changes everything, and I am going to be direct with you about it. Food number 6 is half a cup of wild blueberries. Frozen is perfectly fine and often more nutrient-dense than fresh out of season. Mixed with a splash of milk or yogurt about 2 hours before bed. Wild blueberries are dense with flavonoids, plant compounds that do something no medication I can prescribe does. They actively increase blood flow to your hippocampus. Your hippocampus is the region of your brain responsible for forming and retrieving memories. It is where your name lives, where your grandchildren's faces live, where your stories live. Think of your hippocampus like the gutters on your house. When those gutters are clear, rainwater flows freely, carries debris away, and your foundation stays dry and solid. When they are clogged, when blood flow is restricted and metabolic waste cannot clear, the water backs up. The foundation takes on damage. That damage is slow. That damage is silent, until it is not. Wild blueberries clear the gutters. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that daily wild blueberry consumption improved memory function and executive function in older adults with mild cognitive impairment. Mild cognitive impairment. That is early-stage memory loss. Reversed. By food. Half a cup. Tonight. Frozen is fine. Buy 2 bags this week. Food number 7. Warm chamomile tea with cinnamon. And now we come to the one that completes the entire evening routine. Food number 7 is a small mug, half a mug, and I will explain exactly why, of warm chamomile tea with a pinch of cinnamon, about 45 minutes before bed. Patients always tell me, "Dr. Wells, tea makes me get up to use the bathroom all night." I hear this constantly, which is exactly why I say half a mug. Less volume, same benefit. Steep one bag in just half a mug of water. That is the workaround. Here is what is actually happening. Chamomile contains a compound called apigenin, an antioxidant that binds to specific receptors in your brain that decrease anxiety and initiate sleep onset. And the cinnamon does something your sleep is desperately depending on. It stabilizes your blood sugar through the night. This matters more than most people realize. When blood sugar drops in the early morning hours, typically around 3 a.m., your body releases cortisol and adrenaline to correct it. That hormonal alarm is what wakes you up with a racing heart, lying there staring at the ceiling. Cinnamon is the biological security guard that prevents that alarm from going off. Think of chamomile and cinnamon together as a lullaby for your brain's alarm system. Chamomile tells the security guards it is safe to clock out. Cinnamon makes sure nothing trips the alarm while they are gone. Together, they protect those final hours of deep sleep, the hours your memory depends on most. A study published in the Journal of Advanced Nursing confirmed that chamomile tea safely improved sleep quality and reduced indicators of anxiety and depression in aging adults. Half a mug, 1 chamomile bag, a pinch of cinnamon, 45 minutes before you turn off the light. That is it. I want to tell you something I do not say often enough to my patients. There is a medication that millions of people over 60 take every single night to help them sleep. You may even recognize it. It is the PM version of common painkillers and allergy medications, the ones with diphenhydramine. Benadryl, NyQuil PM. A study published in JAMA Internal Medicine tracked over 3,400 adults aged 65 and older and found that cumulative use of these medications was associated with a 54% higher risk of developing dementia. 54%. These medications block a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine, the same neurotransmitter your brain uses to form and retrieve memories. Every night you use them, you are chemically suppressing the very system your memory depends on. I am not your doctor. I cannot tell you what to take or not take. But I am telling you this because you deserve to know. I want to tell you how Margaret's story ended. She never developed Alzheimer's. 6 weeks after we changed her evening nutrition, her sleep deepened, her brain fog cleared, and she went back to her garden knowing every plant by name. She told me the roses had never looked more beautiful. And then I want to tell you about Arthur. He was 74. A retired structural engineer. Stubborn as the steel beams, he spent his career calculating. He had chronic insomnia for years and took a PM sleep medication every single night for 5 years to force himself to sleep. He told me, "Old guys just don't sleep." When he finally came to see me, a cognitive assessment and an MRI revealed significant memory center volume loss and early-stage vascular dementia. The medications he used to sleep had been quietly blocking his brain's memory chemistry for 5 years. 2 people, 2 different choices, 2 completely different futures. Your future is still being written, and what you eat tonight, what you put on that nightstand, what you steep in that mug, is part of how you write it. Here is your tonight action. Right now, before you go to bed, I want you to do 2 things. First, throw out the high-sugar evening snacks. The ice cream, the cookies, the cereal, that are causing your blood sugar to crash at 3 a.m. and wreck your deep sleep. Second, set out 4 walnut halves and steep half a mug of chamomile tea with cinnamon. That is your starting point. That is tonight. And at your next doctor's appointment, ask for 3 specific tests: a vitamin B12 panel, a vitamin D level, and an HbA1c to check for insulin resistance, sometimes called type 3 diabetes, which is directly linked to memory decline. If you have concerns about your sleep, ask, "Do I qualify for a sleep study to rule out sleep apnea?" Sleep apnea silently destroys deep sleep and accelerates cognitive aging in millions of seniors who have no idea they have it. You worked hard for your independence, for your clarity, for the stories and names and faces that make your life yours. Do not let a preventable nutritional gap take that from you quietly in the night. Your brain has been asking for help. Now you know what to give it. Share this video on Facebook right now. Tag your spouse, your sister, your best friend, anyone over 50 who complains about their memory or their sleep. You might be the reason they make a different choice tonight. And if you are not subscribed yet, subscribe now and bring someone you love along with you. I post a new video every week on the health topics that matter most after 60. The things your doctor does not always have time to tell you in a 15-minute appointment. Memory loss is not a sentence, it is a signal. And now you know how to answer it. I'm Dr. Nathan Wells. Stay aware, stay proactive, and take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next one.